And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Buck and 2MC show, your favorite place to be for post-game Lady Ball basketball. We had a tough one today. As we know, we had UConn in the building at Tuesday game for the lead-back pack game. Before we go ahead and get started, Maria, say what's up to the people.
What's up to the people from Thompson Bowling Arena, the greatest place on earth.
Absolutely. And Bobby, let them know who brings them this show.
Orange Mountain Designs, Terry Holder and the crew over there has everything you want. Lady Vols, a Pat Summit. They've got a great website. Go check them out at orangemountaindesigns.com and Blue Water Climate Control at bluewaterclimatecontrol.com.
Absolutely. And how we start every single show post game is, Maria, give us the goods. What if you didn't get a chance to watch the game? It was a close one and ended in a disappointing way for the Lady Vols. But I'm curious to know what, Coach Harper had to say, what Coach Gino had to say, and what our players had to say.
She's disappointed. I mean, they're very disappointed. That is a game Kelly wanted to win. The players wanted to win. I know I talked before about competitive maturity. Mm-hmm. This team is a couple steps away from that, but they're getting closer. They are better than last year, but the three losses they've had, every game was winnable. And in the past, that wasn't always the case. I mean, they were not winnable games. So I like the track they're on, but I clearly understand the disappointment, particularly for former Lady Vols, like yourself watching. I had obviously saw you sitting right, catty corner behind me. So I want you to talk more this time. You got to see a game in person. I want to hear your take on this game.
Well, starting off, I was pleased. We started off pretty well. It was back and forth. It wasn't the greatest start, but it wasn't the worst. We came to compete. First two quarters looked pretty solid. But the energy, the feel, and I'm not talking about the number of fans in the building. I'm talking about on the court, watching them, offense, defense, when things go good, when things don't go good, leadership or lack thereof. I just felt like it was too dead. Like when we were winning, when we were making runs and we're making shots, everybody was hyped. And then that second half, we came out okay, and then we started making those small mental mistakes, throwing the ball out. Our key has to stay out of foul trouble. Our bigs need to do a better job of getting in position early, guards post entry, but catching the basketball and finishing plays for our post is a must. This is the SEC. You are at the University of Tennessee. This is Tennessee versus UConn. I expected to see more, Maria, to be honest. From the guard play, defensively, man, we're still doing the same things. We're not getting the stops that we need. It's too easy penetration. I feel like they got too many open threes, too many open shots tonight. A lot of times I'm obviously they can't hear me. Number one, I'm in a mask, and number two, they're all the way down there, but I'm yelling, go over the screen. They're waiting for y'all to go under to pull back behind the screen for a pull-up jump shot. Now, luckily, they weren't really making them in the beginning, but they were taking them. And to me, that can't happen. Or how about the backbreaker in the fourth quarter? How does that happen? Number one, why aren't we in man-to-man when it gets to 5 seconds or below? Like if we start in the zone and they have to get a shot off, why don't we, I remember Pat used to have a defense. I don't remember what we called it, but once it got below 7 seconds or 9 seconds, everybody was in man-to-man. We were in 5 defense, which would switch everything. Sometimes it was only 1 through 4 switch, depending on who our center was at the time. But that's the type of energy that needed to be had in that type of possession. To me, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That shot, and it gave UConn the momentum they need, and it just took the air right out of us, and we didn't have any type of true leadership tonight. I didn't see anybody really, hey, listen, get your head in the game, or that's a bad shot. Hey, we need to get better on defense. Huddle up, come on. I didn't see that type of leadership, and that's a must. We're missing it. You have to have that to be a great team. So, I mean, I could rant, Maria. I could probably talk the whole entire show about my emotions, but I'm glad I got to be in the building for the historical moment of UConn, Tennessee back in TBA. So I'm definitely happy about that. but it's so much more that we should and could be doing that it's not being done. And I think some of our bigs, and we need to get in better shape. We're too slow. We move too slow. It's just certain things that I don't understand. Like, I'm looking at it like, okay, I know COVID plays a part, but as a college athlete, D1 athlete, you should be on top of your nutrition. You have trainers in place. You can call your coaches, doctors, nutritionists. Like, there's people you can call and ask. Hell, you're on the computer looking up anything else. Google something good to eat when you're not, practicing or allowed to be around your team. It's just, we got to tighten up so many things that seem minor, but they'll make a major impact in our overall play as a team.
Yeah, there's more steps to take. I mean, the good part is those steps, they're moving forward. You can definitely see progress with this team in terms of a year ago to now.
Mm-hmm.
But to get that next elevation, yeah, all the things you said that you just have to keep getting better at. I mean, the good news is that Kelly knows it and the players know it. It's just a matter of getting it done. And she pointed out, this was not an effort issue tonight, like Georgia. This was an execution issue. And when you look at the stats, Ray Burrell, 18 points. They tried to run some more things to her in the second half, but credit to UConn. They changed their defense. They got Tennessee way out of their comfort zone. Tamari Key, she was a beast on the boards. Marta Suarez, she'll make a mistake and then do something great, but that's what you get with freshmen. That's what you were going to get. Both of the point guards struggled, and I didn't realize how much until I went back and looked at the stats. They were combined 2 of 20. And the fact, I was surprised. It did not seem like that during the game. I'm going to check that to make sure I haven't lost my mind on that stat. But 1 of 11 and 1 of 9. So when I went and looked at that, I'm like, it's amazing. This was a 2-point game with 30 seconds to go.
Right.
When you look at that stat, Tennessee won the boards 42-38. More or less took care of the ball, 14 turnovers to 11. But there's, just like you said, those little things. Like, get that missed defensive rebound that set up that three to push it to 66-61. That was the backbreaker right there. That took Tennessee out of a chance to win the game. And those are the little things that in a big game you got to get them in your favor. You got to take care of those little things. And like I said, I see the team getting better. But competitive maturity is going to take some time. I had said all along, I thought Kelly would really take a step up in year 3, just because of looking at what she wanted to do versus what she was needing to fix. I still think they're ahead of time, or ahead of themselves right now. Coming into this game, I think most people thought UConn would run away with it. And Tennessee met that moment, but they didn't finish that moment. And that's what's frustrating.
Absolutely. But I have to disagree on that effort part, because to me, you're at the University of Tennessee. Let's be realistic now. I think it's okay to say, the competitiveness is growing, it's going to come to them, but you come to the University of Tennessee to wear the orange and white, to be a Lady Ball, because you are a true competitor. That's what frustrates me. Nobody should have to wait for your competitive edge to kick in. Nobody. Not at a major D1 school. That's the whole point and the separation of being recruited. If that's the case, where's the separation between a mid-major or a D2 player? Well, they got time to learn how to be competitive. You can go to any school and learn how to be competitive. I'm sorry, but for me, that doesn't cut it. And that makes us seem real soft, in my opinion. If that makes sense. Like, you're playing on the summit. We don't have time. I'd rather have time to have to teach you like plays or really be working on, okay, we got to get better at boxing out, or our help defense. But the competitiveness, diving on the floor, they got way too many easy open shots. I'm like, we would have been put somebody on their butt. You know what's funny? I was walking out of the arena and this old guy, I like to keep my hat and head low when I'm in and out the arena, so I don't have to be stuck in there too long. But this old guy's walking out and he's talking to his wife, and he said, Anasiki and them, man, they would have been put somebody on their behinds. Is what he said. And I just can't I wanted to stop and say, sir, you're right. And that's what I mean by the loss. Okay, we lost to the number 3 team. And we, like you said, we were probably expected to get ran off the court, which did not happen, which is a good thing. But just compete from start to finish. Even if we have a 3-4 minute scoring drought, can it still look like we're competing? I felt like Jordan Horston got in her head. She was out mentally. She was out of there. I mean, the body language said it. Her actions said it. Types of passes, and she started to throw. She wasn't even really looking for a shot. And then you could tell when she did go shoot those last couple of floaters, she wasn't really in her rhythm. It was more like, I have to shoot this, but I don't know if I should because I'm not playing well. You know what I mean? And it's just, I have to disagree. Like, you come to Tennessee as a competitor, Maria. Hands down. It's how it should be.
When I say competitive maturity, that's a team thing and an individual thing.
Okay.
And they're not always on the same track. And there's going to be dips.
Yeah.
And with a sophomore point guard and then a graduate transfer point guard, they're learning every single game. And you can see moments where it elevates and then it dips again. Now, Jordan Walker, she brought some attitude.
I'm her new fan. I'm a fan of Jordan Walker, like a hardcore fan. If she could play every single game like she did tonight to the end of the season and to the end of her career, she will be tough to guard. She will be a great asset on this team. Her energy level, Maria. Thank you, Jordan Walker, because that's what we need as a whole.
And what you've got to get to competitive maturity is where that stays at a level. It doesn't take those dips. And even Renaya said, I don't want to blame it on a young team, but sometimes you get young dips. And she also said that Renaya, very candidly said, sometimes when I get down, I need my teammates to bring me up. So right now, that really vocal, in your face.
Say hi to Sandra. Sorry, Maria.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, Sandra. Sorry, I'm just going to wave at you.
But I couldn't even give you a hug.
I know. I hate this pandemic. I had to just wave.
I know. Okay. Y'all have a good one.
Sorry, guys.
But we've said it before, that vocal, in your face leader, it's going to take time for that person to emerge. That person's not yet there. And we've noted that before. And you can't change a person's personality. You just can't do it. A personality is pretty much embedded in their DNA.
Yeah.
So,
that's true. That's true.
But I get your frustration because you know the standard of Tennessee Lady Vol basketball. You played it. And if you don't see it upheld, you're not going to like it. And you shouldn't like it. I mean, and Kelly is always gracious post-game. Now, when she's seething mad, she'll say it. This game, she was more disappointed. You know how it is. You'd almost rather your mama be mad at you than disappointed in you. Sometimes that's even worse. But I am encouraged by what I see. Are there still major steps to take? Yes. And the biggest one is being able to finish a game like this. You work so hard throughout the game, you got to finish it.
Absolutely. I applaud their effort. UConn's a good team, but they didn't look like the same UConn, the same way we don't look like the same Tennessee, in my opinion. Obviously, they had great spurts, but they were inconsistent tonight too, and I think that's another thing that frustrated, to see their inconsistency and us not be able to take advantage of it.
And part of that, is a strange year. I'm curious to see South Carolina in person. I haven't seen them in person. I've seen clips of games, but it seems like every team in the country is sort of doing. I don't know. Is it a pandemic? Is it UConn's very young. They don't have any seniors on the floor. They got a lot of juniors and then the number one pick and the Paige Bookers who hit the 3-pointer. But Tennessee started out with Tennessee's defense was outstanding in the first half. They, for the most part, from a lot of possessions, it was outstanding. They were forcing UConn deep into the shot clock. And UConn just scored 100 and something points against Butler on Tuesday.
Yep. So
I will give them that. But I also see exactly what you're saying. There's a standard to play here, and you have to meet it. And is it fair? No, but it comes with putting that orange and white jersey on.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. And yeah, my frustration obviously stems from the fact of how I want to see them play, the energy, the expectations. Like you say, as a former player, I know what Tennessee basketball should look like, should sound like, should feel like. And obviously every game wasn't great for us. So I'm not sitting up here on my high horse acting like we, were the perfect teams or I was a perfect player for 4 years. God knows I was, as Pat used to call, I used to shoot a lot of dipsy doos and do some crazy things. But one thing that never, ever, ever wavered was my energy and my heart.
That's unusual, right?
I'm finding that out, Maria, to be honest. But through it all, I did not know that was unusual.
Dean Lockwood said that about you. He goes, that's an unusual player. We never had to worry when she stepped over the line what her energy effort level would be. That is unusual.
Oh, okay.
So, is it something everyone should strive for? Yes. I mean, Tamika Catchings. But is it easy to do? No. It's a mindset, and when you get to college, whatever your habits are, they're not easy to break. You came here with, you were going to play hard, period. That wasn't in question. Probably a big reason Pat wanted you too, was the motor.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think it just takes one. Jordan Walker had that motor tonight. She had it. And to me, in my personal opinion, and obviously I've never coached a day of college basketball in my life, but I would have had her on the floor till her tongue was hanging out of her mouth, because we needed that. She was getting stops. She was pushing the ball. We had the most transition opportunities when she was on the court. You can't really sit that out. You better figure out how to make the timeouts work around her, because she's going. Everybody else needs to match her energy.
And what you really want is that energy from the get-go.
Yeah, of course.
And you can see both teams were sort of feeling each other out there at the start. Both teams realized, all right, I'm playing the best team, one of the best teams I'm going to see this season. And you could see there was just a little bit of, okay, just sort of like jousting a little bit, but in that beginning, but not really taking charge of it. But at least Tennessee can lead this game knowing, and Kelly, I think, said it on the radio show, we can play with anyone in the country.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is what happens when I'm not at home in the office by myself working.
Water, okay. Water.
I'm sorry, guys. But bye.
Bobby, we've just been yakking away. What else do we need to say? Anybody talking in there? Are they up late with us?
Actually, I'd like to say this is Bucking 2MC's largest audience on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We have set a record by far, maybe even double. We've got them on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. We've got comments everywhere. And I was there with Lex. Saw you over there, Maria. And she was saying the things she was saying on here. So this isn't for the show. I took her over there on the way home. She's just saying the same thing. So let's go read a couple. There was some really good questions if you got just a second. I'll start over here on YouTube. Want to get a shout out to J. Darius Green. He said, such a good, close game. We'll get better with three things: conditioning, making layups, and improved decision making. Let's see. Mitzi said, Alexis, you're killing me. You're so right. You can tell Pat Summit coached her. Yes, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Over here on Facebook, let's see. You're just getting a lot of great comments, Lex. Mickey Rickman says, how's this team camaraderie seem? Do the players seem happy and tight? That the turnover of players transferring has been hurting us, and we need a stronger sisterhood that stays the course. I know the transfer portal makes it difficult, but we need the right ladies who want to play with pride for the course. Great comment. I guess that's for you, Maria, on the camaraderie. You get to go in the locker room. You're right there next to them.
I think it's okay. I mean, there's a lot of new faces, and it's only Kelly's second year. But overall, I think they respond well to each other. The biggest issue I see is that these players are in lockdown. There is a psychological toll on every team right now playing in this pandemic. You are literally on lockdown. You are in the gym or your dorm, and most of your classes are online. The college athlete life has been completely removed from them. They can't go anywhere. They can't do anything. They literally are confined to a small area with hardly interaction with anybody. They can't even see their parents in the locker room after the game. They have to go see them in the parking lot. That's part of the COVID protocols. So it's really hard to get a gauge on where any team is right now. I do think they want to play. They much rather play than be doing, taking classes and having to do this and not play. But I do think as we approach 11 months of this, or I guess we're at 10 months now, I do think it is taking a toll on every team.
Yeah, that's tough. Like you say, you can't get out. You can't, it's hard to just go in the gym, call a teammate, hey, let's go put up extra shots. Let's go do this, do that. That part is definitely tough. That's tough on everybody, especially a young college kid away from home. And so, of course, that's a factor. We can't overlook that. Everybody's different. Some people, it affects their mental health in ways that it doesn't affect others, which obviously can and will affect their on-court play. And it comes down to, it may have to involve like a sports psychologist or getting the team. We used to have to do that anyway, pre-COVID. But, maybe hopping on a Zoom call or having the former players, talk to them or kind of give them a little encouragement, let them know that the sisterhood is still around. They're not on their own. But that takes effort, from the top, everybody. I think Candace was on a call, last week, right? Or earlier this week?
Yeah. I think right now time just is one long day to me. So I couldn't tell you.
I just remember seeing it not too long ago.
It's recently she was on a Zoom but even in the locker room, on that picture, nobody can sit together. They're
right.
all sitting apart. It's one of the more unusual things to witness I've ever witnessed in sports, where you're together, but you're not.
Yeah. And togetherness is everything. And, like in our huddles, we would always touch feet. It was about energy. There's studies that, the teams that actually touch more, do more high fives, pats on the back, and have a closer interaction are typically more successful and are definitely closer, and you don't have it. You just don't have it. So it is a lot different. I'm not going to take away, from what's happening in the world with the pandemic and what these kids are going through. But all I'm saying is when it comes to competing and putting on that jersey, and especially on a We Back Pat night and having UConn back in the building, and it's been over a decade, it's for me that should be a natural excitement. But again, this era doesn't really quite understand the rivalry. They don't really get it. And I don't know how many former players they see or talk to or films, because we used to watch clips I remember some of the older players would come back, and I'm guessing they, had whoever was doing the film, and it'd be certain clips, and it will show their energy, shot blocks, picking each other up, taking charges, and then that's what would get us fired up. And so I don't know what they do or don't do, or what they can or cannot do, but I would say any of my former Lady Vol sisters, older, same age or whatever, younger, if you have the time and if you can, reach out to these players, whether it's on social media, whether it's able to get Coach Harper to set up a Zoom call, team call, it's so many ways to communicate nowadays. And just try to help these young players out to really try to understand. I think once they gain that, because we understood it, obviously. It's all over TV. We're playing AU. We see it. It's a whole different time. We understood what we were getting into. And because it's so different, you don't really know.
One thing Kelly did say that was kind of funny, she said the players were watching, because, ESPN ran UConn games all day long today. And she said that she came across them. They were watching her play when she was at Tennessee. And she says, I'm not sure that was the best thing for her. I'm not sure watching me play was real inspiring. So
Wait, did they win at least or no? The game
I don't remember which one they were watching. There were so many. I mean, there were that series. You just never knew what was going to happen. And I mean, Kelly's crew didn't beat them every time, but they got their share, particularly at the Final Four in Charlotte in 1996. They beat them in the semifinal, but yeah, it's there's just so much missing in this pandemic year. Just former Lady Vols practicing with them. There's just so much togetherness that's not there. Now, to go with what you said before, once the game tips, you got to find that deep reserve in you to get going, and that's not always the easiest thing, especially for a young player. So, but at least they're better, and they're definitely better. Bobby, I know you said we got a lot of questions. You got any more? Let's let Lex field a few.
Yeah. Before we get to that, wanted to mention that Orange Mountain Designs is our title sponsor for the Buck and 2MC show. And anybody who orders anything by noon tomorrow, Bobby will give you a entree for two at Tennessee Tap House on Peters Road in Knoxville, Tennessee. Had a great Twitter comment. Don't get much of those. You can follow us at Vols Roadshow. But Lacey said, loved watching Hornbuckle play at Tennessee. Definitely one of my all-time favorites. J. Darius Green said he's got the answers for all their problems. He says, we need a point guard with a Shannon Bobbitt kind of attitude.
Well, we've seen flashes of it out of both of the Jordans. We just gotta keep that temperature running hot on both of them. I didn't mind Jordan Walker's technical at all. That didn't bother me in the least.
Yeah.
What caused that? What was happening? Me and D'Lo and I was wondering.
She said, and after the foul, she said and one at the player. Which, I mean, my God, Lex, how many technicals would you have gotten if they called that?
I'd have been kicked out of every game. Every game.
But the OrangeMountainDesigns.com is also running a bunch of Pat Summitt specials, including the shirt with Pat Summitt and Shamiqua Holtzclaw on it, and the left foot, right foot breathe shirt. So please go over to OrangeMountainDesigns.com and get your Pat Summitt gear on top of your Lady Vol gear.
That's awesome. And don't forget Blue Water Climate Control. You can book online. There was a great question. I saw it. I'm trying to look for it, so I'm just rambling so you don't get what radio people call dead air. Jessica Quinn, one of our regulars, Walker and Green, before she was hurt, play balls to the wall every game. I always wonder if it's just because they come from mid-major and feel if they have to prove themselves. That was a great comment.
Absolutely, but they also understand what they have to give. And they understand the opportunity that's at hand for them to go from mid-major to a school like Tennessee. Yeah, they know what they're walking into, and that's what I meant by when you sign that letter of intent and you say, yes, I want to go to the University of Tennessee. That's how you're supposed to come and play. That's how you're supposed to practice. That's how you're supposed to come with a mindset like, you can't beat me. You're going to have to outplay me, outthink me, outwork me in order to get this win.
Like you're coaching kids now. How many times do you just want to turn around and scream?
Maria.
I will never forget when you started coaching and I talked to you, and this was years ago, and I asked you about it, and you said, these kids are bad.
Yeah, they are. They're bad. They're different. They don't listen. And
That's exactly what you said. They don't listen and they talk back.
Yeah, and we kick kids out. We don't play that. And I've really tried to work with parents that understand we're tough and it's for a reason, but we'll get them, we'll help them. We're here for them. We love them, but we're not going to coddle them. We're not going to take it easy. We're not going to tell them great job when you're playing terrible. That's mommy and daddy's job to lie to you, to make you feel better. Okay. For us, we're trying to get you to be the best player you can be. And not all of our kids, well, now all of our kids, most all of our kids want to go to college and or pros. So now it's a whole different environment that we're building, but this is taking years to get to. So that first wave coming in, first few years, it's just like, how do you not care if you win or lose? I don't understand that. We could be talking about walking to the car. I bet I'm going to beat you. Like, I'm just so competitive. You know what I mean? And for them, it's just like, oh, we lost. Laughing. And what's funny? Like, for real. That's me. Like, what's so funny? We just lost. You just got your butt kicked. Like, it's just.
I want to make it clear you're talking about the kids you coach, not the Lady Vols. Yeah.
By the way, if you're just not tuning in, I'm talking about I coach youth basketball, third graders all the way through high school. Okay. And it's a different era. They're a different breed. They think they're better than what they are. Their parents think they're better than what they are. And the best part about it, Maria, is their parents know more than we do. Now, they never played the sport. They definitely never gotten a scholarship to play the sport. And they've definitely not went pro with the sport.
I like the way I grew up. They just threw us outside and told us to figure it out.
Hey, listen, we're like, we'll take care of your kids. We might beat your kid up too. I tell parents, I'll fight kids. Listen, I ain't got time. Okay. I'll fight kids because you're not going to come in here disrespectful. Like, if we say something you don't hear, so they go, what? Hate that. We check that. Don't say what. Excuse me. What'd you say, coach? Yes, coach. Yes, ma'am. It's simple. You might not get that discipline at home, but you will get that discipline in this court. And Sandra Garcia is worse than me. She really could have played for Pat Summitt.
Bobby, what else we got?
I got two more questions, but I got one quick comment. Olivia Woody says, Lexi used to be hard-headed too at Cap High days. That was directed at you. Great comment.
Hold on, Bobby.
Stating the obvious.
Bobby, hold that thought. Listen, hey, I know you hear me, all right? I was hard-headed, but I went hard on the court too, period, all right? That never went through.
James Smith Grove says, I have a question. Why do you think Renaya goes into a shell in big games? What can Kelly do to fix this?
Why say it again?
Why does Renya go into, I can't even read my glasses. Renaya, yeah. Go into a shell in big games.
I think, Maria, what do you think? You watch more games.
I think she stepped up in some big games too. I'm not sure I'd make just a general remark about that. I think sometimes, she stepped up huge in some of their other wins, especially Indiana, which was their first ranked team on the road. So I understand that sometimes some games will not be as effective, but I would disagree that she doesn't step up in big games. There has been evidence that she does exactly that. She also, his defenses will key on her. That's part of the reason Ray Burrell can get so open. And she did a great job tonight. There was a first half play where shot clock's winding down, and she faked like she was going to shoot, and two defenders closed on her, and no one was on Burrell. and she passed to the wing, and Burrell drained the three. So a lot of the times what's happening is that she also had 2 fouls. I mean, she didn't get to play the whole second quarter, just about. So that hurts a player too. That's a long time to have to sit.
Yeah, it can mess with your momentum a little bit in your head.
One last question, ladies. Jeff Pearson says, Maria and Lex, do you feel like Kelly is recruiting the right kind of players? These kids coming in next year seem like they will have good motors and a really want to win attitude. I know they'll fit in well with the team. Thank you, Jeff.
Right now, the way Kelly recruits, I mean, I think an FBI background check would be harder. They call everybody. Lex, if they ever recruit one of your kids, they're going to call you about how she acted in middle school, best I can tell. They vet everyone. Do I think she's recruiting the kind of kids that she wants to fit into that Lady Vol style of play, which is you go hard all the time? Yes. I do understand they also all will be freshmen when they get here, and I never put high expectations on freshmen. The good thing is that as they get here, there will be more upperclassmen. And what you want is a solid core of upperclassmen to help those freshmen.
Oh man, to answer this question, I think that she has recruited some talented players. And I see potential in all the kids that are on the team now. I truly do. But we need more dogs.
Yep. I was just thinking, say you better say what you told me. I wasn't gonna let you go, Lex.
I was trying to find the best way to say it. We need some dogs, man. You need that player that nobody likes to be on the court with. Like, as I'm talking about the other team, hates when they're on the court. They know they're going to get hit. They know this girl's going to be diving on the floor. They know that she's going to be the one talking, boxing out. You need those types of players, even if they don't average but 10 minutes. You need those players. You need to have at least one per class. So every time one gets graduated out, you got 2, 3 more behind her, and do what you want. Find you some nice, great kids. That's awesome. But find people that want to win at all costs. They'll make they're not always the ones making the best grades and ever getting in trouble. I'm just saying.
Great job in rephrasing what you said in the car. Great job.
Yeah, what you just described too was Kelly when she came in here. She had a dog attitude. You were not going to beat her. Yeah. You just were not going to beat her. Period.
Yeah. It's just, I'm sorry, and I'm going to speak real frankly right now. If Coach didn't recruit those types of kids, along with those kids that are awesome in every aspect and realm of their life, and just, those kids that everybody wants to be around, if she didn't also recruit the ones that struggled a little bit, or the ones that didn't have the best academics all 4 years of high school, or something happened, you need kids that are so hungry to make it out that they'll do whatever you ask them to do. They will run through a brick wall every single day if you ask them to, because that's how much it means to them. Until we start to get those types of players back into our Tennessee Lady Ball uniforms, we cannot return to Tennessee basketball. Impossible. We are, in a sense, soft. What I saw tonight is no UConn players hitting the floor the way they should have been hitting the floor when we were in a drought, a 4-minute drought. No, Key, you don't need to get a dumb foul. And if it's in the first half, you don't need to do a dumb foul. But it should be somebody that's able to come in the game and say, you know what, we're going to change. We're going to make them think twice about driving into the paint and flying over our backs for rebounds. Until we start to get those types of kids in, at least once every 2 years, we're going to struggle against those teams that have dogs. And almost every team that is ranked has dogs on their team.
I think you might have one, maybe even two in this 2021 class coming in.
It is believing, Maria.
We'll see. Based on who they're looking at in 2022, there might be one coming in there too. There's some of those dog kids you're talking about. No, she's not looking for perfect players. but she is looking for kids that are committed to success.
Well, yeah, but committed to what success? Just success in life. Like I put on a jersey and I want to be good enough, and then I know.
Winning. She's looking at how did you play in high school? Did you win at that level? How do you play in this? She is looking. She said when people tend to win championships, get to state tournaments in high school, they tend to do the same thing when they come to college.
That's true. That's true. But I just still feel like we need some people that winning at all costs is their attitude.
No, you got to have that on the team.
Yeah.
And we saw flashes of it. We have seen flashes of it with both Jordans. So I'm not ruling them out, either one of them. I think they can develop into that dog. I mean, I love the technical foul. Didn't bother me one bit.
Yeah, sometimes they're necessary, right? Sometimes techs are necessary. But again, though, we're saying like I've seen flashes. You know what I mean? Like I said about Walker, like if she can sustain that, you know, if that's how she came in and it was every single game, every single minute, which most of the time it is for her. Horston, it just depends on kind of what headspace that she's in or what type of game, or, you know, it's other factors that kind of go into it. Or if she's frustrated, because when she gets frustrated, she's kind of done for a while, if not the whole game. But what if we don't have to wait? It's not flashes. I'm not talking about perfection or always executing. I'm just talking about going home. It's not an on-off switch. We talked about this, Maria. There's no real there. It's very rare that as a player or a team, you can consistently compete at a high level and have an on-off switch. It has to be on. That's what I mean. We need to recruit the kids that, okay, it might take them extra time to learn the plays, but you know what type of effort you're getting. You know this kid's going to hustle for you. You know this kid's going to be a dog on defense. They're going to fight through screens every time. They're going to talk every single time. They're going to sprint the floor every single time, whether they have 2 points, 0 points, or 20 points. That's what I mean.
You know who you're missing this year? Keegan Green. Yeah. Green. You just described Keegan Green.
Yeah, she was going hard before she got injured. And
I expect her to come back, which is a good news.
Right, but once she went down, who's the other player? That's what I mean. You can't just have one.
No, but I mean, that shows a willingness by Kelly to go get that kind of player.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I'm not saying she's not recruiting people that don't want to win at all costs. I'm talking about as someone that's who I am. I could see it. It's no, I got to get it out of you, or what type of player am I getting today? You can't worry about who's coming, which Alexis is coming to play today. You just, hey, Alexis here to show up. That's what I mean. And I understand they're young and they have to learn, but you should never have to learn effort. To me, that still goes back to effort. That's the foundation of a dog, is effort.
It's a mindset, and it's not one you can instill in someone who doesn't already have it. Yeah, so we are on the exact same page there. You got to recruit it.
Yeah.
And Keegan Green is that kind of person. Everybody knew they were going to miss her on the court just because of her voice as soon as she went out.
She was tough. Jawan Smith was in the building, former VFL basketball. And he was actually sitting behind me. So we were talking, and I was like, hey, you see that girl on the crutches down there? I said, listen, this would be a whole new ball game if she could get on that court. They wouldn't have got half of the paint points that they got.
No, she's a beast.
I guarantee it. They wouldn't have gotten half of the rebounds because she goes after it. And that's what we need. We just need to keep going after it at all positions. Lady Vols, as always, I still love y'all. I still believe in y'all. We still got a long ways to go. We just got to tighten up and toughen up. As Orange Mountain Designs shirt, it's an older shirt. I don't even know if you still make it, but toughen up, Buttercup. The Pat Summit.
That's a Pat Summit. But no, I agree. I like the direction they're going. Does everyone want them to get there quicker? Yes.
Of course. Yeah.
But I am seeing a better basketball team. And this is a team that can compete at the top of the SEC. Are they there just yet? Not yet. Are they on the way there? I honestly believe they are.
Yeah. I think we'll be all right. Somebody has to get mad enough to say enough. Enough is enough. Let's do this. And put the team on their back and be that person that comes in, day out, every single practice, every single shoot around, especially every single game, and says, listen, I got you. We're going to go hard. Follow my lead. And once that comes, I think we'll see an even bigger, jump up in our play as a whole, because there has been progress since day one, especially since last year. That's obvious,
Yeah.
And even since the beginning of the season. But now, because we are kind of narrowing down, it's like, come on now, which team are we going to see?
Yeah. You got to find your identity.
Yep, who do we want to be known as? And I think that's like a right now thing. Like, we should be there,
I need to find a pair of scissors for my hair. Good Lord. But what it's going to be like.
Bringing like a little bun on top.
No, I got that California surfer look going here.
You got to throw it out your face, shake it a little bit. There it is. There it is. Let that hair go.
So, next up, Kentucky. That's Sunday, 2:00, ESPN2. That's a big game.
That's a rescheduled game, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was. They were going to Vandy, and Vandy ended their season. So, fortunately, Kentucky had an open date. That's perfect, because Tennessee was supposed to host Kentucky in early January. So, nice job by the SEC to get that set up in a hurry.
Like she's talking about.
It doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, like you
Never
talking about.
does in this league.
You're talking about him sitting right behind us. I kept waiting because Kelly heard him yelling all game long. He was coaching her. I knew he was going to turn. She was going to turn around and tell him to shut up, but he was cracking me up the whole game. You could hear him on the other side of the court.
Yeah, with not many people in here, you can hear what everyone says during a game.
Crazy.
Put JoJo in. He was screaming, man. He was the whole game.
At one point he just say for her to check herself in? Wasn't that him?
That was him.
Shout out to my boy Jawan Smith, man. Number 2 for the Tennessee Volunteers back in the day. Oh,
but see, that's the passion of former Vols and Lady Vols. I mean, that's the way you would expect a former player to react.
Absolutely. Bobby, before you take them out and we thank our sponsors one last time, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody that's watching YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, volunteerroadshow.com. Keep watching and keep listening to us. And Maria, thank you for everything that you do, for keeping us caught up. And anything you want to say to the people before we get back to them Sunday afternoon?
This is always where I want to be. The cathedral, man.
Yeah, I still love that place.
It's the best place in the world. And I think the Lady Vols are going to get back to the top. It's not an easy process, but I think they're on the way, and just gotta find them dogs. Like Alexis said, find them dogs. I got 2 at home that are a pain in the butt. They eat beds while I'm doing it. No telling what I'm gonna walk into when I get home. So I got 2 dogs everybody can use on the court.
I think they only need 2 legs though, Maria.
Okay. If my dogs will get down to stance, they're gonna be a little height disadvantage though, but they'll get down to stance.
I love watching dogs play basketball. It's so cute to me. Bobby, what we got? Take us out, Bobby.
This was a great show. Thank everybody for tuning in. This is our record-setting show. Let's make this happen every post-game and Tuesday night. Tell all your friends. Share this on your Facebook page. Thank you for all the great love. Don't forget to support our local businesses. Our title sponsor, Orange Mountain Design, at orangemountaindesigns.com, and Blue Water Climate Control at bluewaterclimatecontrol.com, and Tennessee Tap House on Peters Road. Thank you, guys. Thank you, ladies. Great show, and go Vols.
Go Vols.
Peace.